want some of this, you're gonna have to decorate a Christmas tree.
Climb this pole.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Honest Bible Study. This week we're going to discuss consent in the story of Dinah Gets Into Trouble, story number 20. And I've got my friends with me today, Lexi and Bob. Hello, Lexi and Bob.
Howdy.
That's another fine day in the neighborhood.
Not for Dinah.
Not for. Well, it
What,
was.
you don't like
it was a
blame
really
game?
good
That's not fun.
Things have been up and down for her.
Yeah, I don't think she was taught boundaries, consent. There's probably some other things that were just blamed on her that were not her fault. It's just a story gone wrong.
I have a few conspiracy theories about the Dinah story because I remember, I don't know if you ever did this, but during like public talks or like more like talks where no one really cared what you were doing as long as you had your Bible open, I would
Made it
always
look like you were.
Yeah, I would just always go through the stories that I liked, most of which were in Genesis, because like, not to be rude, but like it gets real tedious after the first 5. I like the drama, but I would just reread these stories. So I have a few conspiracy theories that I'll share as they come through.
Ooh, reveal the
I
link.
love hearing about her conspiracy theories about Bible stories.
Oh, okay, let's
Yeah, maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
tutorialists.
From what I understand, when she was a witness, you never had a chance to talk to people about these stories.
No.
Yeah. Because
she wanted to be invested in it. Nobody else wanted to talk about this.
I thought it was really funny because I really remembered. I feel like when you really like something, you can make fun of it and it's loving. I don't know, doing it.
Yeah, just like with movies and things of that nature.
Yeah, exactly.
People will crap talk. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still discussing certain shows like Seinfeld that happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's still relevant to some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of just the social aspect of it. And you're right. We never got to have that fun. Oh, what if this happened? Or what if the Nephilim, did that? Or what if there were women this? And we never had that opportunity to even have conspiracy theories because it's all just said to you how you're supposed to receive it.
It's not even a study.
No, don't question. No, it's really not, because everything is preconceived and just
everything. They've already got the ideas figured out. They just tell you what to believe.
The one thing that really broke me down at a certain point, I remember my dad even asking me, you don't comment at the meetings as much anymore. So then I was just okay. And then I just started owning it and just using whatever the Watchtower wanted, because the worst experience I ever had was giving an answer with whatever I got from the material. And then the brother upstairs was just not as obvious as this, but basically was just okay. They called on somebody else. And I was hey.
Oh, damn. You got a diss from the podium.
It wasn't as blatant, but it was, there's that witness tone that it really is wow.
They don't feel it's a good point. They don't want to build on it, because when they feel like it's a really good point, they'll point that out or tie it in. But he was okay, next point.
Just
sorry, I spent that time.
I was I'm trying to.
Did he say something that's an interesting perspective or something neutral or something?
It was pretty neutral, but it was so it was just thank you, which everyone had to say thank you for sharing.
Appreciate, because they want you to answer, but they don't like when you have bad answers. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was definitely, I feel it was a shift too as I got early teens. I didn't have this as deep of thoughts as I had once I was older. So that was when I could still be kind of expressive because I was still young and they were baby answers. So what I thought was deep was sheep still.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's always a difference as you get older and you realize more, but I would try to study for give an answer. I'd write it in the margin and, try to sometimes I do that kind of hand raise, like,
Yeah.
I really don't want to, and my heart would be just pounding so hard. I don't know why I put so much pressure and like had so much anxiety
Yeah.
about it. And then to get an answer that's just like super like, yeah, thanks for that. Not next. Like,
When you
oh,
were
my
out
heart.
when you were out in service, did you actually ring the bell? What kind of or
Okay,
did
so
you
here
fake it?
I had like serious guilt issues. Like, I thought stuff was watching me at all times. Like, I
Yeah.
just thought I was always under watch. So I would knock. I would ring the bell. Like, did I knock as hard as I could have? Probably not, but I made sure it was a knock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I was the kind that didn't. Like, now that I realize like some of y'all were doing that, I'm like, damn it. When was I so altruistic? I really didn't want to be doing it.
Yeah, I used to apologize, but then I was like, I was always really, I remember even telling like my dad about this. I was like, so I didn't tell him about how I never really felt like anyone was actually listening to my prayer, but I did still pray because you're supposed to. And I figure like, even if I can't tell he's listening, he probably is because everyone says so. So I was always super candid with my prayers. So like even like I would like fake it and I'd be like, I didn't prepare a presentation, and then I wouldn't ring the doorbell for real because it's like he saw he knew I was not ready to say anything.
Yeah.
So like I think it's better that that nobody comes to the door than me saying my go-to standard, read the title of the article, because it's always a question
from the heart. It falls flat when it's not genuine, and I never felt genuine. It was always just repeating their garbage, trying to anyway, and I was never comfortable with it. I hated every moment of it, but I wake up every Saturday thankful that I do not have to do it ever again. Hallelujah for that. Okay.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. This is story 20.
Back to Dinah.
Dinah gets into trouble. Do you see who Dinah is going to visit? She is going to see some of the girls who live in the land of Canaan. Would her father Jacob be happy about this? To help answer this question, try to remember what Abraham and Isaac thought about the women in Canaan. I think that's a really interesting.
You got to go back a few chapters. Isaac gets a good wife. That's where we get the.
What I find interesting is they say try to remember what Abraham and Isaac thought about the women in Canaan, and isn't kind of like part of the witness thing is saying that they are the true Christians, they have the true understanding of the Bible, and that they try to live to the standards of what the first century Christians, right? And the first century Christians were trying to live to this standard. So like when they say try to remember what Abraham and Isaac thought about the women in Canaan, they're basically saying like this is what you should think about the women in your life, right?
That's an interesting.
Like we're supposed to idolize Abraham and Isaac, and they're like women suck.
You have to judge women like purity.
Right?
They had both ways.
So they're not saying like women are terrible. They're just saying we agree with the guy who says women are terrible.
Oh goodness! Thank you for agreeing and not having any type of argument with it. If this was so
no argument, no nuance, no updating.
At some point.
Yeah,
nope.
They got it right the first time. Why would we change perfection?
Oh, it is really weird. I never really thought about this like double standard, but just like how. I don't know, even the whole like good girl, bad girl ways that like people would like look at children and be like, that girl's fast or whatever they said. Like stuff like that. And it's like, people would like judge girls and
it's
like
very stereotypical, patriarchal view of women.
Yeah.
That's
it is. It's a very good point. How they broad brush just kind of generalize the people of Canaan. They're all the same damn people, you knucklehead.
I mean, we even think about people of the past being so different from us, but like realistically, people in the past had almost identical brains to our brains. It's just the ideas they were exposed to were different than ours. So, their cultures would be different in the same way that if I go to another country, their culture is different than my culture, but that doesn't make either of us wrong or right. And I mean, there are some ways in which by my metrics, I think my metrics are fairer than their metrics. That's just my opinion, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
did Abraham want his son Isaac to marry a girl from Canaan? No, he did not. Did Isaac and Rebecca want their son Jacob to marry a Canaanite girl? No, they did not.
Okay, but
Esau
married plenty.
Do you know why?
Those freaking Canaanite girls.
They wear makeup, and then do you remember the warning examples?
Too much jewelry.
They all just wanted Israelite men only.
Mm-hmm.
So
gaudy.
To lure to worship.
Yeah, that's
that was the best part about I don't think that was like these times. I think it was different. But the warning examples for our day where they have the Midianite women who keep coming in to seduce them, but only to lure them to Baal worship.
What a strange, what a convenient narrative to spin about your people.
Exactly.
Worldly women.
Right. They're just going to deceive you. They're going to manipulate you with emotion to worship. Like, how pathetic are men that they are that easily swayed?
Yeah.
There are a lot of men today who are that easily swayed.
Right. So,
now, granted,
sounds like a you problem, bro.
Yeah, she might seem cool and she might seem nice. And those are all just lies to get you to Baal worship.
Right.
You want some of this, you're gonna have to decorate a Christmas tree.
Climb this pole.
Sit on old Saint Nick's lap, please.
That
damn pagan worship.
Jesus had not one but two pieces of wood. That's right. It was a cross, not a stake.
Okay, why are the Canaanite girls naughty?
It was because those people in Canaan worshipped false gods. They were not good people to have as husbands and wives. And they weren't good people to have as close friends.
Naturally.
They were better dead.
Naturally.
Of course.
It's something about the earth, something about the ground they were standing on.
It just produces bad people.
But that's not God's
worship.
That's not God's fault. Stop blaming God.
I thought that was God's piece of land. So how come God?
I thought this was God's universe.
Bad seed. But if that is his specific soil, like his holy place, and they say you reap what you sow, it sounds like God is maybe just not doing very good sowing.
Yeah. Or maybe we're wrong, and maybe God is like a huge party animal.
Right. Everybody else has gotten it right. Like they're supposed to be doing this wild and crazy stuff. We've been the ones getting it wrong, thinking we wanted it this way.
Other gods do stuff. They're able to do stuff. So
God wants to do.
I love that.
This is
us the idea
tempting people to Baal worship right now.
I love the idea. I love the idea that there's false gods at their party and then God at his party, and it's one of those sad parties, maybe 2-3 people showed up, they've got a real bland white cake, and then it's a rager over there at the gods, and God's I'm gonna kill all of you because your party was way more fun than mine.
Yeah. How dare you schedule your party on the same eternity as mine? This is unbelievable.
Only I'm allowed to have this ritualistic celebration, not you.
Yeah.
How dare you? Ugh. Anyway, those damn Canaanites.
Yeah.
Just blame it on them.
So we can be sure that Jacob would not be pleased that his daughter was making friends with these Canaanite girls.
We can be sure.
Sure enough, Dinah got into trouble.
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 They should put that into quotation marks.
Yeah.
Why are we we going to use terms like got into trouble when we're still going to tell children about a rape?
Because it's a shame game, because she's the one who caused it. It is all her fault. Don't you know?
Yeah.
It's what she wore. It's where she went. It's the woman's fault. Duh. She got into trouble. They didn't do something bad to her.
And I mean, it's also supposed to make, you know, when you read the story as a little girl, or when you hear the story as a little girl, you're supposed to be scared, and you're supposed to think, I better not go hang out with those boys in my class or those girls in my class, because I just wanted to have friends, and now I'm being forced to lie down with a boy I don't, you know, whatever. And, you know,
you don't have friends.
That's why you don't have friends.
I feel like this really...
The misery of not having friends is better than the potential misery of
what could happen if you
interact with other human beings.
I think over my life, little by little, I just started realizing how people are just gonna people, and it doesn't really help if you're a witness or worldly or whatever you are. Because like I remembered in high school, I was like, I'm hanging out with bad worldly kids, but then it was like they're just fun, they're just nice. They watch the same YouTubers that I did. It's like we weren't
humaning.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, people when they're talking about what's moral behavior, they'll draw the line for what's moral behavior just below what they're doing. Right? Anything below this line is immoral behavior. Right. And I'm just above that line.
That's true.
Right.
That's
so like, you know, and then occasionally you dip below the line and you feel bad about it. And that's about it, right? That's as far as it goes. And then of course there's more complexity to it, right? I mean, like people who don't feel guilt, or people who have ideological reasons for, say, forcing their children to live in a cult, right? Like they, you know, they think that they have good reasons for doing so, and they're just wrong sometimes.
Yeah, they're just wrong.
People being people.
Yeah. Making uninformed decisions about things because they likely don't know any better, or maybe don't know
even
how
from
to
a
do
witness
better.
perspective, that should be the understanding, because it's like, okay, I see all these worldly parents raising their worldly children to engage in art that I'm not happy about, but they don't know any better. But because the witnesses are like, oh, everybody's heard the message before. That's not true. I'd never met a witness until I met her. And I was an adult. I was fully an adult before I met any witnesses. So the idea that like we've all heard the message, like my parents came from India. They've never met a witness. They certainly never met a witness in India. My grandma
actually
never
just
met a witness.
Just recently they mentioned like the stats of how many people die a day and how many people are born a day, and it was like 300 something thousand are born a day. I can't remember the exact numbers, but they were even stating that it would be difficult for them to reach every person, but that's why it makes it so important that we do preach.
Right.
Like you just shown that it's insurmountable. It's impossible.
It's really important that we reach everybody, but everyone has been reached, and you have no excuse if you reach the end of your life and you don't believe in, you know, then you get annihilated. And it's like, I genuinely hadn't met any witnesses before that.
Okay, here's my argument for how it's a cult and not just trying to help people. Because, like, literally with all our donation money, forget Kingdom Halls, we can go back to home Bible studies forever. But all your donation money, we're buying, like, every billboard, Times Square slot. That would make the news if one day, for some reason, it only showed JW stuff in Times Square for, like, a whole day.
I mean, think about,
then
like,
everyone could have...
there's that ad campaign, He Gets Us, which is like a Christian conservative thing. But like that makes the news when billboards go up and people notice the He Gets Us billboards. And like it gets people to go to the website and look into what they're talking about. And it's like, yeah, I guess maybe I should give Christianity another shot, because it's like they're advertising to people and people are buying the advertising.
You
Channel news don't do that. I've
Walmart
never seen a
website,
JW
yeah.
billboard ever.
Well,
I've
I'm waiting
seen
for that.
them, but they could make it more improbable that you've not seen it. Like,
Mhm.
put billboards up everywhere, buy
mean, they're convincing
advertisement
people-
space on TV or on YouTube, and you could make it practically impossible to ignore the message. And then therefore you can bring
Yeah.
Armageddon.
Armageddon,
Boom.
yeah.
Problem solved. Problem solved. Take those
Yeah.
millions of dollars and billions of dollars you got.
Yeah.
J
Because they
Dubs.
get to keep the money, and the
Mhm.
people in
Solved
the thing get to be in this punishment system
Yeah.
of going door to door instead of investing that money into billboards or TV ads or internet ads. I mean,
Mhm.
anything would be more effective than the door to door punishment that witnesses have to go through in order to
But
try
that's
to
what it is. It's a
humiliate
punishment.
themselves and
It's to
feel
keep them
terrible.
in this cycle.
Yeah, but the
It
punishment
really
is
is.
the cruelty is the point.
Right. Make them feel guilty, make them feel shame, make them feel compelled that they have something important, that they can
Yeah.
save people's lives. Everybody wants to feel as though they're put here for a specific reason, and that's their goal in life.
And it's
That's
much
their-
more annoying to the people outside, and they don't know that the whole point is to annoy us, so that will turn them away, so that people will feel more alienated by the outside world. It's a vicious cycle.
Ooh,
Speaking
goodness
of feeling
gracious,
shame,
is it ever?
speaking of feeling
Boom.
shame,
Boom.
Dinah got into trouble.
We're getting good at this. That's okay.
Damn, Dinah.
Dang it, Dinah!
You gone and done did it, Dinah.
Done did it, Dinah.
Done did it, Dinah.
Dun
Song.
dimmadum Dinah.
Daggone Dinah, you doggone done and did it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can you see that Canaanite man in the picture who is looking at Dinah? His name is, oh man, is it Shechem?
Shechem.
Shechem. Okay.
At least that's what we were told.
His name is Shechem. One day, when Dinah came on a visit, Shechem took Dinah and forced her to lie down with him. This was wrong, because only married men and women are supposed to lie down together. That's the reason it's wrong. That's a real subtle way to just be real shitty.
Oh, it's so shitty. Oh, that's
It's
so
like
hurtful.
such-
That's the only reason it's wrong is because that's for
Mhm.
men and women to do when
Right.
they're married. Not
And
because she was forced. She didn't want to do it. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also implies that it would be okay if they had been married.
right. He could
Right.
force her
Yeah.
if
Right.
they
Well, that
were
for a
married.
long time that was
That
a
would be
problem.
okay.
because of
It's
stuff
still
like
a
this.
problem
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think they've outlawed it sort of at least
in a lot of places.
Yeah, but
I
not
think there
everywhere,
are
so.
there may still be places here in the U.S. where it is legal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
positive, and I'm certain that JWs would feel like
mean,
women have
there are
duties
so
that
many-
they need to.
There's so many other
Yeah,
things that are
there
still
it'll do.
legal. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are also still legal in this country that are crazy, like child marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things on the books that you just don't know about because they're
You know,
not
there
brought
was a-
up until they need to use them. Then it's like, we actually
There-
still do have this on the books, and we can use this loophole. Got
There was a I want to say a state representative. I don't remember from where, and you could probably look it up. It'll probably come up as soon as you Google. They were arguing about a bill to ban child marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the people opposed to the bill said that he knew people that got married when they were children and they're still together, and that was his argument for why it should be legal.
Congratulations.
That's not my metric for success.
Right.
Putting it
really
lightly,
truly is not.
that's not how I
Yeah.
measure the success of a system, right?
No,
I'm really
not at all.
I'm doing mental gymnastics trying to make that track.
Make it make
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah.
It just sounds like to me like that's a way to keep children as property, and the parent has the full control of that property to marry them off.
And then of
to
course
the
there's the
highest
whole
bidder,
That's
whatever
just
age
child
that may
sex.
be.
trafficking, right? Like that's
Yeah.
just
And
child
that's part of the problem is people want to see it as this obscure thing that they see on the Sound of Freedom movie Like,
Right.
some place across the globe in the
Some
jungle.
weird
and
place
that's where the
somewhere
children are
else,
being
or
taken.
some
Yeah, it's not
old
here, not in the
time.
good old America. When really, it's people that it's going
Yeah,
to be.
people
I mean,
in
the
your community
statistics
in
are somebody.
2020. Yeah.
That's what the statistic tells us, but people don't want to open that door because they realize there's a lot of people that would be uncovered, and I think that's what is the
Yeah.
real frightening thing, to see people in that light. Anyway, sorry, rant.
But no,
I mean, it's a dark thing about the world. It's a dark topic, and it's being reflected in the story as a good thing. This
But this is
idea
how
that
you
women
keep
should be
children
submissive,
quiet.
marital due, all that. Yeah.
Because if a child reads this and that child is known that something they may have lied down with an adult, not really
Right.
understanding what's happening, but lie down with an adult, and now doesn't want to come forward because they realize it's their fault. And then they realize in the story, which
They
we'll
got
get
into
to,
trouble.
what happens after, like,
yeah,
they don't want to be the cause of that, so I'm just gonna not tell.
I don't want to be Dinah. I don't want to get into trouble.
right.
As opposed to like getting hurt. Right?
Yeah.
If it was called Dinah got hurt, and then the story was about how someone abused Dinah, that is a story
Completely
of warning.
different.
That would be telling the kids, hey,
Yeah.
if someone does this to you, it's bad. Tell someone. Instead, it's Dinah got into trouble because she was messing around with those worldly girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? It's her responsibility.
Yeah. This bad thing that Shechem did to Dinah led to a lot more trouble. When Dinah's brothers heard about what had happened, they were very angry. Two of them, Simeon and Levi, were so angry that they took swords and went into the city and caught the men by surprise. They and their brothers killed Shechem and all the other men. Jacob was angry because his sons did this bad thing. And my question is, first of all, they said caught the men by surprise, killed Shechem and all the other men. So was this like a big group thing they did to Dinah?
Do you know what they did?
I don't remember the story that well.
Can I feel? Okay,
I remember. Tell them.
Okay, so here's what goes down. So Shechem and Dinah have their thing, and Shechem is in love. It was the best night of his life.
Oh,
he
yeah.
goes to Jacob.
Stop. This is already psycho shit. What did you just say? Sorry, he abused her, and then he's like, hooray!
Well, here's my thing. I've always wondered if, like, this was more about Dinah's family abusing her more than hers. Because I always wondered what if Dinah just had consensual sex with Shechem? Because it just said they laid down together. And, like, the Bible's super vague. And like, they're supposed to, like, her body isn't for her to decide who she gets to be with. It's for her parents and her Jacob and her brothers to decide who she gets to sleep with. How dare you fall in love or whatever. Or just have her casual.
Her property value has gone down.
Yeah.
Because she's not a virgin any longer.
But Shechem loves her. He wants to marry her. So much so that her brothers say, all right, but you have to get circumcised like we are. And not just you, everybody in your house. Then they get circumcised and they're super, like, weak because they're grown men getting circumcised. Yeah. And then they kill them. Which, can I just say?
Wait, hold on.
That's pretty rotten.
Let's
just say it. It's pretty rotten.
Like, there's two ways that a story like this could go down. In the broad strokes. Dinah is hanging out with some people that are bad. And then someone else who's bad comes and rapes her. And then her brothers go, I can't believe you did this. Kill, kill, kill. The alternative is she's hanging out with some people and she meets a guy and they decide to have sex, consensual sex.
She likes them, maybe.
And then afterwards, her brothers go, she's our property. You can't do that. You don't get to do kill, kill, kill. And the Bible, this story has struck the weird middle ground that she did have sex, but because it was non-consensual, the brothers are good to go a killing, except it's also bad because they shouldn't be a killing.
I think they're
It's
just,
the
I
worst
think they're
possible
mad.
thing. I mean,
I think they just felt
'cause, like,
disrespected. That was really what I
if
think
I
it came down
if I had
to.
a sister and she got assaulted, I would be mad. Me and my brother would probably go over there and have some words with these guys. Words with fists.
Yeah.
I don't think most people would even blame me for that.
Right.
Right.
But the story's telling us that it's bad that they did this. So what was supposed to happen is that she got what she had coming. The end.
Yeah. Because I always thought about it too, because like I was never really sure, just because they're like just general history and other stuff. They show people kind of got divorced all the time, kind of got remarried all the time. People were just with people, as you do. But then in the Bible, like, there's this big, like, women have value. Like, they say it's, like, worth, like, 3/4 of a goat or whatever they say whatever they say. But I was thinking, like, okay, but, like, you just, and the fact that we don't hear what happens, I was always like, bro, you literally just killed her only shot at getting married, which I thought was, like, her one job.
Right. She's now lower value.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you want her to get married? Wouldn't you? And they
when you start to break it down, they really did kind of F up because, like I said, like you said, her value now as property, because that's what she was, property, and now they won't be receiving the money for her, like her dowry, which she could have, right? The bride price. So they did kind of ruin. I mean, I think there's more stories about her, like in other outside sources, but come on, we don't even know how much of this is like a real, a story set in any kind of reality. It's really just to be us against them. Yeah, exactly. But this is how they saw a woman, which is the point, is that now she had little value because she's not a virgin. Who, like you said, maybe she loved this guy, maybe it was consensual, we don't know, but he wanted to be with her, maybe she wanted to be with him, and now you done murked him. Did she know that you were going to go killing all these guys, a whole tribe or whatever?
What's really frightening to me is that it's not just an old-timey view. This is what all those right-wing podcasters are talking about, like those low-value women, low-value men. This is all, I mean, low-value men is like its own kind of thing, but like low-value women is like this exactly. This is from thousands of years ago. They're still talking about it today, and they're just repackaging Judeo-Christian old-timey bullshit as modern, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they'll code it in a little bit of psychobabble to be like, oh, men are predisposed because of our genes, because of our our brains are wired. It's all, I mean, like,
it's what you're taught, bro. It's lazy reasoning. It's all it is. You just
it's lazy reasoning, not based on it's not based on facts. It's just based on whatever seems plausible to you. And plausibility is not the metric for truth. Plausibility is a factor, but it's not a metric for determining whether something's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Very true.
Well, how did all this happen?
What do you mean? They and their brothers killed Shechem and all the other
How did all this trouble get started?
Jacob was angry because his sons did this bad thing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. How did all this trouble get started? And here's that real linchpin. It was because Dinah made friends with people who did not obey God's laws. We will not want to make such friends, will we? Ladies.
You'll get raped and your brothers are going to kill a bunch of people and then your dad's going to not be too pleased with their murderous ways.
Don't go making friends at school. You can't go to their house.
Okay. Hot take. I never liked Jacob. Like, just never liked Jacob as a person, as a father, as a religious patriarch. Never liked the man ever. Because at the end of this, he's mad at them. He's like, they could come back. Someone could come back for revenge on me. No one even cares about, like,
it's not about you, bro. Chill out.
And
It's not always you.
Also, the whole, like, I love one wife because your eyes have no luster, and I'm only gonna like her kids, even though I've got 20 others.
Oh wow, he's definitely one of those high value bro kind of guys.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
Very high
We got
value.
questions.
He's looking for the top tier kind of woman, and definitely not somebody who would associate with Canaanites because they worship other gods. Yeah, da 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 da. That makes us so different.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta scroll down to story 20.
Okay.
All right, we're looking at the study questions. All right.
Ooh, okay. Study
Question
questions.
1. Why did Abraham and Isaac not want their children to marry people from the land of Canaan?
Because they're just freaking idolaters. Worshipping other gods, those heathens, blasphemers.
They're gonna be super sexy and make me worship Baal.
Yeah.
And I will be like, no, sexy,
orgies.
praise Baal.
And they force people to have intercourse with them. That's how they are. That's how those dudes get down.
Yeah, they're bad.
As opposed to the Israelite men who are super respectable.
And it's
they
like
do
so
that
ironic.
to other people.
But how ironic is it that when Moses commanded they murk all the Midianites, but they saved the women, the women who haven't known a man yet. So like, okay, so those Canaanite women were okay to marry, but wouldn't they turn you to other gods as well? Oh, okay. You don't make sense.
They wouldn't. I mean,
they wouldn't do that because they don't have those evil Canaanite men around to control them. Because it's kind of like robbing a bank. Right?
Okay, so as long as you're in control, I see.
Yeah, like if I have $20 and you have $20, it's bad for me to take your $20. But if you're dead, you're not using it.
That's true.
So might as well take it.
Basically. I mean, it's money spent.
This is so weird because you cannot answer question 2 with the Bible because the Bible doesn't give us an answer.
What's the question 2?
Did
Jacob approve of his daughters making friends with Canaanite girls?
Who knows?
Yeah, I guess.
I guess the example is supposed to tell us the implication is, yeah, you really shouldn't be how are you not supposed to? You live in Canaan. How are you you don't trade with them? You can't like buy stuff from them? Like, hello.
I'm pretty sure
you expect people to do. There's not a market like just always down the block. You gotta do what you gotta do.
This is bales of hay.
Hey, come worship my God.
Number 3.
I want to make a meme that's just like showing like the Canaanite women here, and it's just like bad girls make you do bad.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Hot girl, hashtag hot girl something.
Yeah, hot girl
something. Maybe I can do something with that.
Number 3. Who is the man looking at Dinah in the picture, and what bad thing did he do? I believe that was Shechem, and the bad thing he did was have sex out of wedlock.
Yes.
Well, he lied down with her.
Yeah.
Laid down with her.
Yeah, I mean the hierarchy.
Maybe the fact that you can't say what he did should tell you that this might be a story that should not be repeated to children.
I love like right before bed we do these study questions. It's like,
oh my god,
like, you're just
poor children.
Can
you imagine this is the story you hear before going to bed about a woman being forced to have.
All right, little one, what bad thing did you do? He laid down with Dinah before they were ready.
No, before they were married. It doesn't matter how ready she was.
Yeah, the parents like,
hey, watch it, kid.
Ready or not, you better get a ring on it.
Yeah.
Everybody is bad association. Stay away from everybody. Everybody wants to hurt you. There you go. Night, night. Love you.
Yeah.
Mommy loves you, sweetheart.
Number 4. What did Dinah's brothers Simeon and Levi do when they heard about what had happened?
They did like the best YouTube prank ever. Like
Mhm.
Sam could never.
Could
So they
never.
like we
bro,
said,
listen to what we're gonna do. It's gonna be rad.
Yeah.
Come here. You won't believe
If we
it.
can get 6,000 likes on this, I'm gonna kill all of them. We're gonna kill all of
We're
them
gonna
next video.
circumcise them first. Make
Yeah,
them
we're gonna
think that we're
circumcise
gonna
them
let
today.
him marry our
Get
sister.
30,000 likes.
brother-in-law circumcision challenge goes wrong.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Prank gone wrong.
I shouldn't be laughing about this. It feels so wrong.
I mean,
Oh my!
they've
Can you
been-
imagine? But we're not even thinking about like all those men had families. Okay, so now
Oh,
what
yeah,
happens to
I
all
didn't even
those?
think about that.
Yeah.
No, because we never think about like the victims. We just we're
Right,
not given that perspective. We're always just
But
thinking
like glorify
about how they,
the killers. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But that's
You
the thing.
know, I guess-
They say they did a bad thing. They never describe what kind of punishment these guys get.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob just gonna wags a finger at him and is like,
Guys, quit your killing. And they go,
True.
sorry, Dad.
he's basically
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
shouldn't kill.
sorry,
You shouldn't kill
Dad.
people unless I pointed at them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you're right, Dad. We'll wait for your call next time we go out a killing.
Yeah.
But
All
you
right,
know,
boys,
they were
did you
really-
finish your killing?
But if they were really like, if he really wanted them to be humble or sorry for what they did, then they would help out those women or the, you know, the families that were affected by who they. None of that. None of that. It's
I mean,
just
I think
Dinah's
we're-
fault. End of. Dinah's fault. That's it.
What I think is interesting about all these Bible stories, every single one of them, is like, okay, I don't believe in free will, but like, let's just accept free will as the excuse for people's bad behavior. Fine, whatever. There's an active character in these stories that is not doing what they should be doing, and that's God, right? If I'm God and something bad happens to my girl Dinah, and I'm like,
Where you
see,
at,
you
God?
shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have hung out with those people. And then her brothers go kill them, and I think that's a bad thing. My thing would be like, okay, time to punish her brothers, time to give them a more appropriate punishment, bring them back to life, give them a more appropriate punishment, and then make a grand show of what a gracious God I am. Right? Isn't that
Right.
his whole thing? He wants us to
Nothing
worship him?
happened.
That he just
God didn't-
sits there
there's
and
nothing
watches.
about God here.
Yeah.
This is. You're right. There's no
I
theatrics.
mean, he's the most powerful creature ever possible, according to the
all
story.
human.
And he's not involved at all.
Part of
Right,
it,
this
yeah,
is
you know
weird.
what's funny? Like, God doesn't come up once in this whole story. Like,
No.
he came up last week with Lot because he murked everybody. But
Right.
if he's not, he is absent. These are just
Silent.
the affairs of
And, like-
people.
And like,
Yeah.
when I don't like something that's happening, even when it doesn't involve me, I don't like child marriage. What do? I talk about it to people. I call my senator or whatever, right? What does God do when he doesn't like stuff?
Sends
just
a
lets it
hailstorm. He sends a
He just
hailstorm.
stands around. And I mean, you
Right.
can look to an old book for some ideas, for
Mm.
situations to consider, to toss around in
To
your mind.
understand
That's what
what
a
our
Bible study should be.
yeah,
But it's
but that's not what it is. No, it isn't. It's just to continue it. It's honestly like we are perpetually being Lot's wife. We are
Yeah.
constantly looking back at that old society, these
Yeah.
old morals, and I think that was my dog. But yeah, we're always in that system of looking back. We're not looking forward. I mean, we were
No.
even in dark ages because of the looking back that we were doing. And we're looking at another possible that I mean, it is happening. Books are being
Mhm.
burnt. And it's because people are looking back. They don't want to
Mhm.
look to the future. It's so
And the-
wild.
And the witness response to that perspective is, thank you. Moving on.
Yes.
That's true.
Interesting. Bye.
Because
Yeah.
I think too, it is weird how just like thinking about that kind of puts the constant new light and a new perspective, because it's like the brothers in the research department or whatever are scrambling every time they notice, okay, well,
A plot
this,
hole.
yeah, exactly. Every time they're like, okay, well, we
Plot
realized
hole.
we wrote this in the Revelation book, so it didn't make sense. So you guys look at these revised copies. Don't worry about those copies. Now, this is what's in print, and all this different stuff. When it's like, maybe you guys are working harder, not smarter.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a new way of life.
Some new light.
Yeah. But
They could have better discussions. They could have open discussions with their people and still have a religion with principles and values, etc., and just have more discussion, honest discussions about
who's
things
doing that
and
with
still be
these
unified.
Stories? You know who's doing that with these stories? Most of Judaism.
Right. I mean, it's all around us. If you want
Judaism
the information,
Just
talking things through and
exactly,
rabbinical
it's
study,
predicated
they're
on
reading
asking the
stories and
questions,
reevaluating their opinions.
Mhm.
That's the whole thing.
Right. And that's what I'm like. That's why I don't get it, because that's what Judaism is about. I mean, maybe it's taken them a while to get, to get to that point, but where they realize, like, there's bigger and better things. Let's ask these hard questions. Let's get to know the truth. We don't, because we repeat cycles when we don't know the truth about our history. And we're literally repeating these cycles right freaking now every damn day, because we're looking at the past, trying to fit into it, not realizing we're just repeating exactly what happened.
It's like seeing a car crash while you're driving, and because you're looking at the car crash, you steer into it. Like,
yeah,
instead of trying to avoid the trap, you're just
great analogy
on it until you crash.
We are metaphorically just like religions, just right into each other. Great point.
I mean, it's true of broader ideologies, but I think religion's the oldest form of it. Maybe there's some older form.
And the means in which it's tied into our government is a problem. And it's just always been an intricate part of religion, is having that political tie to it to keep the people worshiping how you want them to worship, and not
thinking
in
the way
very
you want them to
specific
think,
ways.
because it doesn't. I mean, like, the thing that bothers me so much about religion, not religious people, but religion itself, is that when people accept ways of thinking, modes of thinking, structures of reasoning that just don't hold up, they will then apply those ideas to other aspects of their life.
Yeah.
So like divine command theory is the idea that things are good, moral actions are moral because God says they're moral, not because God himself is moral necessarily, not because the action itself is intrinsically moral. It's not about God, it's not about the action, it's about what God says. That's divine command theory. And I'm not saying all Christians believe divine. There's a big arguments among theologians about it. But if you believe in divine command theory, that implies that any subject, any person can demand something to be a right thing to do just on their own basis. It implies it. And so, like,
their interpretation.
I say it's okay for me to go kill 100 dogs and make a big coat. Call me Cruella de Vil, because that's fine.
Right. But you have that lease, you have that license, I guess I mean to say. Because you have that ability because it's pliable.
Line of reasoning worked here, so
yeah.
If it works for the biggest man in the universe, why can't it work for me?
It should work for you. It has to work for you if it works for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there's differences between me and God.
Right.
I exist.
Well, you exist.
Yeah.
Baby.
Just kidding, I never existed at all.
Wow.
I was just a mirage the whole time.
You're not married to nothing, an apparition.
You were my
really there. I don't believe it. Touch him. Okay, he's there. All right. I guess so. This was a good study.
Yeah.
Are there more questions? Was
There's
that
only-
it? I mean, we're at an hour.
I think we did 4, or did we do 5? Well,
Uh,
there's 2 more questions, and they're pretty basic. We've already gone over them. Did Jacob agree with what Simeon and Levi had done?
no.
Nope. How did all the family trouble get started?
Dinah had a social life.
Yeah, Dinah wanted
Dinah
friends.
Dunn did it. Yeah.
Dinah
Like,
Dunn
How
did it.
stupid.
Yeah.
How stupid of her.
What a dummy.
Really.
Dummy
Yeah.
Dinah Dunn did it.
Dunn did it.
Done diddly did it.
Dun diddly doodly. Now I'm thinking of Ned
Dang
Flanders.
it, you dummy Dinah, you done did it.
Poor Dinah. And you know the tragic story like keeps going that Dinah became a very popular enslaved name.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, on purpose.
that's
Yeah.
That's
And then like
gross.
that Dinah, won't you blow your horn or whatever sign.
Oh,
Yeah, like this is all like interwoven
Yeah.
into yeah.
Wow. You know, I never
That's
thought
how bad
any-
they
I
thought of
never thought
Dinah.
any of the Dinahs were the same.
It is. I
Dinahs.
research. I
That's exactly what I was
Wow,
talking about. Like,
that's
they,
the
wild.
whole
they take the story,
Wow.
they take the wrong meaning from the story, or the an invalid moral from the story, or whatever, however you want to phrase it. And then they say, okay, Dinah is a character to be studied, a character to be compared to, and I'm going to name these enslaved people Dinah because I want them to understand their place, and I want to be reminded of the horrible things that happened because I'm going to do that
Yes.
to you too.
Yes. 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 It's just another level of indoctrination,
Yeah.
right? You know, and they probably had that right there in their slavers Bible.
Yep.
You know, certain stories. I bet you that was a big
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It was really sad. I had no clue. And then one of my Mormon friends, ex-Mormon friends sent me a
Foreman.
message. Yes, Foreman. And and I was down that
Yeah.
rabbit hole and I verified everything. It's pretty wild what people will do to pull out of that Bible to manipulate it into just another layer of control, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One tragic story to another tragic story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, on that sad note, we wrap
Yeah,
up
right,
another-
Wow. It just got real dark, real deep, real quick. That accelerated.
If you needed this downer, leave a like. Yeah, if this
Dinah, you did it.
Well, we may not have gotten everything right, but at
But
least
at least
we
we
were
were
honest.
honest.
Yeah.